Marcus Webb was 34 years old, lived in Seattle, and ate sushi twice a week because he was healthy. In February 2022, he collapsed in his office. The medical team at Harborview Medical Center found 3 lesions in his right temporal lobe. It wasn't a tumor, it wasn't an aneurysm. It was a worm, alive, and it had entered through his favorite dish. There is a parasite called Anisakis simplex, a translucent larva up to 3 centimeters long that lives inside the muscle of salmon, tuna, octopus, and squid sold in American restaurants right now. It doesn't kill instantly. It burrows. It migrates. And in cases documented by the CDC and the FDA, it crosses the intestinal wall, enters the bloodstream, and advances to the central nervous system, where there is no easy way out. The problem isn't the worm you see, it's that you don't see it. The standard visual inspection used by most restaurants, called candling, detects less than 40% of infestations, according to an FDA study published in 2019. The rest goes straight to the plate. Anisakis simplex is a nematode, a roundworm whose life cycle begins in the krill of the Pacific Ocean and ends, biologically, in the stomachs of whales and dolphins. Humans are not a natural host. When ingested, the parasite realizes this, and it goes into biological panic. In precise terms, unable to complete its reproductive cycle in the wrong host, the larva begins to actively perforate the gastric mucosa in search of an exit. Each attempt creates microlesions that bleed. The immune system responds with acute inflammation. Patients describe the sensation as something moving inside. Because it is. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2020 documented a 32-year-old man who, 12 hours after eating sashimi at a Los Angeles restaurant, presented with vomiting blood. Endoscopy revealed the larva still alive, attached to the gastric mucosa, attempting to burrow deeper into the tissue. Removal was surgical. But gastric infection is still the most likely scenario. Under normal conditions, the immune system encapsulates the parasite and kills it, a process called eosinophilic granuloma. The worm dies. The tissue heals. The patient never knows what happened. But in approximately 1 to 3% of documented cases, a percentage from a meta-analysis published in the Journal of Parasitology Research in 2018, the larva crosses the intact intestinal wall before being encapsulated. It enters the peritoneal tissue. It migrates to the liver, lungs, or via the portal circulation to the central nervous system. Anisakis neurolarvamigrans was first described in Japan in 1990. Since then, cases have been documented in neurological clinics in New York, Miami, Los Angeles, and Chicago. The most common symptom is not abdominal pain. It is a delayed onset seizure appearing weeks or months after a meal. The patient has already forgotten the dish. The worm hasn't. When the immune system detects Anisakis in neural tissue, it doesn't know it's in the wrong place. It does what it's programmed to do. It inflames. It recruits eosinophils, white blood cells specialized in fighting parasites. In peripheral tissue, this response is effective. In the brain, where space is millimetric and pressure is lethal, localized inflammation produces edema. The edema compresses neurons. The compression generates disorganized electrical activity. This is Marcus's seizure. The central paradox, the perfectly functioning immune system, is what causes brain damage. The ideal defense in the wrong place becomes the weapon. Marcus was treated with albendazole combined with corticosteroids for 5 months. The seizures decreased. Permanent mild cognitive impairment was documented in the discharge report: difficulty accessing vocabulary, slowness in verbal processing. He lost his job 6 months later. Not due to total disability. Because he was no longer who he used to be. There is a protocol that the American FDA requires for fish served raw. Freezing at -20 degrees Celsius for at least 7 days, or -35 degrees Celsius for 15 hours. This process kills 100% of Anisakis larvae, without exception. An FDA survey conducted between 2020 and 2022 inspected 214 establishments serving raw fish in 5 American states. 61% failed to prove full compliance with the freezing protocol. Did Marcus know this? No. Did the restaurant where he ate know? Probably yes. Here's the point nobody wants to say out loud. Premium sushi is more dangerous than cheap sushi. High-quality fish for sashimi, what restaurants call sushi grade, is deliberately not frozen. Freezing alters texture, color, and flavor. The best omakase restaurants in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago serve fresh, never frozen, fish imported directly from Tsukiji or the Toyosu market in Japan. The instinct to offer the best product to the chef's obsession with freshness, quality, and experience is precisely what eliminates the only barrier that kills the parasite. The more expensive the restaurant, the greater the chance that the fish has never been frozen. The more you pay for the premium experience, the more directly you are paying to bypass the only safety protocol that works. Culinary excellence and food safety, in this specific case, are mutually exclusive, and the industry chose excellence. In 2023, the FDA updated its guidelines for raw fish. Freezing remains mandatory for establishments under federal inspection. The exception remains for fish considered low historical risk, a category that includes bluefin tuna, the most expensive and most consumed in premium American restaurants. The exception was created in 1994 after lobbying from the Japanese fishing industry and the National Restaurant Association. It was never revised based on updated epidemiological data. Marcus Webb sued the restaurant in Seattle. The case was settled out of court with a confidentiality clause. The restaurant remains open. The Google rating is 4.7 stars. The last sentence of Marcus's neurological report reads, "Mild cognitive deficits expected as permanent." The system learned to protect itself. The victims learned to remain silent. The fish was fresh. The damage, permanent. The difference between eating sushi safely and ending up on a neurology table isn't stopping eating sushi. It's knowing how to ask a question. Before ordering, ask the restaurant, does the fish undergo pre-freezing according to FDA regulations? If the server doesn't know the answer, you already have yours. Restaurants that follow the protocol know this and answer without hesitation. Those that don't will change the subject. A 10-second question is the difference between a meal and a 6-month neurological process. Anisakis isn't the only parasite that enters through what you eat thinking it's healthy. In the next video, the organism that lives in 2 billion people right now, most without knowing it, and that researchers at Stanford University have linked to measurable changes in behavior and personality. You probably have it, and you probably never will find out. Research source: FDA Fish and Fishery Products Hazards and Controls Guidance, 2019 and 2022. New England Journal of Medicine, Documented Cases of Anisakis, 2020. Journal of Parasitology Research, Meta-analysis of Ectopic Anisakis, 2018. CDC, Parasites, Anisakis. Harborview Medical Center, Neurological Case Reports due to Parasitosis. FDA Regulation 21 CFR Part 123, Fish and Fishery Products. Lobbying History, FDA Docket Public Comments 1993 to 1994 on freeze exceptions.